Right, so this is me recording post-commentary for the episode because, well, for some reason, last night, OBS just completely forgot my microphone existed. And so, now I have to do this again. Now, the episode started with me introduce, the episode saying, "Oh, I'm back, this is what's been going on." And we're stuck here on this screen because that's what I was doing at the time. And I was also talking about how apparently I've messed up the save file somewhere when recording this, because we had already used that great engineer, but apparently, I had saved at the start of the turn rather than at the middle of the turn where I had ended the episode. So that was that. I was explaining Granny's doing well. She's, and I'm back now. So we're back to the regularly scheduled episodes and everything now. And I was talking about how I have plans I had plans to do a couple of modded episodes of Civ 5 played with a bunch of mods and stuff before Civ 6 comes out, because at least the plan has been to just, once Civ 6 releases at the end of the month, just to switch completely over to doing Civ 6 LPs and videos in the future. And I wanted to ask your folks' opinion on this. Do you, after Civ 6 is released, do you still want to see Civ 5 games? Do you want to see Civ 5 content, probably modded or playing weird challenge games and stuff, even after Civ 6 is out? Just let me know your feedback on this. Now here, America was trying to get sneaky. They were trying to, you can see there, they were trying to sneak an infantry out into the water so they could capture Aberystwyth there. So this is me using the planes to try and make sure that they're not in any position to take a city this turn. But yeah, no, I had a couple of specific modded games in mind, but that required me having an uninterrupted, when I made the plans, that required me having an uninterrupted daily release schedule in order to fit all the games in. And not having an episode or not having a series that went on to it's going to go to 30 parts like this one is as well. Goodness knows at this rate we might not even be able to finish the entirety of the Brazil game before Civ 6 comes out. And I want, again, it's just, do you folks want to still see Civ 5 stuff after Civ 6 is out? America had quite a lot of units. So they did. Popping up and the way they did, quite a lot. They distributed their army in a very sort of odd, scattered way, and it made it very hard to sort of push a front, because you can't, with the way the AI was scattering them around and the amount of his unique B-17s he had spammed, it was very hard in this, or still is very hard in this war to sort of push a front. Yeah, because you end up with a lot of cities you don't want, wasting a lot of time with cities you don't want, and then you're also leaving your if you push a front very dedicatedly, and if you don't, then you leave yourself vulnerable to being back attacked and cut off. And so this war's been a real balancing act about that. Very tricky. You can see here, this is me strategically moving units around Akhenaten in order to make sure that he can't sneak in any melee units. And there's a point later in the video where he managed to get a melee unit in with an extra movement point from somewhere. I have no idea where it got the extra movement point. I really shouldn't have been able to do that, but he did it. And I was screaming bullshit at the time. I'll not be doing that again, obviously, because it's a post-commentary, but you're just going to have to make do with my extremely hoarse yelling being lost to the ether. Oh no. And yeah, the reason we've had to be focusing so hard on Akhenaten in this thing is because we need a city. If we want to take Thebes, which was the Egyptian capital, which America has severely mismanaged, we need to be able to get in range to nuke it, and Thebes is the closest city we could get that's actually, or not Thebes, Akhenaten's the closest city we could get that's actually in nuclear bombing range. Well, it's a lot harder to I find it, I don't know what other folks, but I find it a lot harder to record post-commentary than I do live commentary. I find it a lot harder to keep up with or keep finding things to say when I'm sitting here watching back my old footage. I suppose that's interesting, because I've heard other people say that they find post-commentary far easier. I suppose it's just a weird personal style thing. We've at some point we declared friendship with Ramkhamhaeng, and for the purpose of selling him stuff in order to exploit him for money to buy nukes and stuff. This is me getting the numbers wrong. Yes, there we go. 225 for strategics, not 255. God, I hate him. Weird baby-faced, passive-aggressive shit. Especially with his ridiculous, like, absurd, broken, runaway fucking empire in this game. What is it with... I don't know what it is with me and Civ 5 maps that have just turned into, like, these ridiculous snowball AIs that I can't fight. I mean, part of it's just space. I mean, look at how much fucking space they had to expand, and it's like, ah. Yeah, you see there what I was talking about earlier about the coming round to behind you and trying to catch you out. I have to sit here and actually have to deal with this, because if I don't, they will take the cities. And as much as I just want to rush straight to Thebes and Washington, I can't sit here and ignore this, which again slows me down. And Ramkhamhaeng is getting awfully close to a space victory, and I mean, really, he probably should have the space victory by now. I'm just at the mercy of the AI being omnipotent. Like, Ramkhamhaeng has really won this game, honestly. So it's turned 364. The game should, and it's just the lack of wraparound on the world map means I couldn't, like, the fact that I couldn't come around from the other side and I have to go the really long way through everything to get to Washington and Sukhothai. Like, if this had been a map with wraparound, I could declare it in way earlier. I could have just left Harold and his shit tier empire alone, but I mean, Harold wasn't a threat. Harold was never a threat. But look at how badly he did, and then look at how insane Ram Kamahang did, and I just lack of consistency with them in this game has actually been kind of a sore spot for me. And then there's still this big empty space between me and Askia and Boudica. Like, I've had to spend, like, you think, like, as the Inca on the Highlands map, you wouldn't have to worry about this sort of thing. But, like, the amount of difficulty we've had just getting around the map, and I was not anticipating that at all. And I mean, I suppose this is doing a really good job of, much like the Morocco game did, highlighting just how much easier a science victory is in Civ 5 than all the other victory conditions. The game is very imbalanced in favour of the science victory. Like, I absolutely adore this game, I really do, but you can't deny the science victory is the fastest and easiest. Unless you're on, like, certain, like, specialised map conditions where you're... Like, if you're playing on the Great Plains map as Attila the Hun, like, yeah, then of course domination is going to be the easiest, but... So we bomb Thebes, and then I get there, and I realise that I jumped the gun with the XCOMs, and now I can't power drop them back out again. The XCOMs aren't strong enough to take Thebes on their own. It's going to require a second nuke. So it's a matter of keeping them over there, keeping them alive, and until we can bring a second nuke up to the front and smack them with it. Again, you've got all that empty. It's a big empty space between us and Harold, and I mean, a big part of that is Harold's own fault for his incompetent settling and everything. That's us picking Clausewitz's Legacy because, as I said at the time, Clausewitz's Legacy gives you all your units an attack boost for the next 50 turns. And this game is absolutely not going to go on for another 50 turns. If it goes on another 50 turns, something's seriously fucked. So yeah, it's 2 turns to get our units into. It's going to be another turn to rebase the nuke, and then not a couple turns to rebase. So we have to keep the XCOMs alive. You know, you'd think ICBMs would have a longer range than World War II bombers, but they don't. Nukes are actually like really short range in Civ 5. Or nuclear missiles. Yeah, there was me screaming bullshit. He managed to... How he managed to get that mobile SAM in when it was sitting on the uranium. That's three movement. Mobile SAMs. They don't have 3 movement. Like, unless I'm completely... Oh, they do have... I'm just noticing it now. They do actually have 3 movement. I've been under the impression for years that they only had 2. Well, okay, then it wasn't bullshit. Well, there we go. I learned something today. Shows how often I'm moving around mobile SAMs, I suppose, doesn't it? Like, because normally I'm building them and just sort of keeping them around with the melee troops. You know, you're getting them to provide cover or troops, or you have them stationed next to a city just to help with your own planes and everything. And so I suppose you're not ever really usually moving them around that much. And I just haven't noticed. That's kind of hilarious, actually. Hey, well there we go. Post commentary is good for something, eh? Wouldn't have realised that if this wasn't for that. So I'm gonna bring the third XCOM in. I was lamenting for a while I couldn't hit Elephantine, Heliopolis and Thebes in one nuke, but oh well. Speaking of nukes in Civ 6 look fucking nuts. And kind of also really bullshit if you're on the receiving end. Because there's nothing that you can do against nukes in Civ 6. Absolutely nothing. I mean, literally, the only thing you can possibly do is stop them from having uranium. Like that's the only way to absolutely guarantee you can't get nuked in Civ 6 is have a world monopoly on uranium supplies. Or, just murder. If you kill all the AIs before they get to uranium... Well, I mean, I suppose it's not... Excuse me. My throat's all dodgy. Recording other episodes tonight is going to be a little pushing it, but... The uranium and, nukes aren't the same, but... Yeah. Alright, here we go. I've positioned all my XCOMs very carefully to make sure that they'll not get hit by the nuke. Nukes have a 2-tile radius. So, and there we go. That's Thebes. That's another capital. So now we just need Washington, Sukhothai, and Jakarta. And now this is me working out a bunch of things, but the war with Washington. Honestly, I would like to be able to piece him out, but I can't just force him. You can't force the enemy to give you their capital in peace deals. So this is me thinking, you know what? This hodgepodge of borders and supply lines and everything. I'm just going to liberate Egypt since we can't get or we're having such trouble with getting troops around, and we can't just even if we build an airport in Thebes, which I later work about getting the money for an airport to buy an airport in Thebes. You still have a problem of having to send all the units back to Sofia in order to be airlift, because Sofia is the closest airport we have because of all the nuking. We've nuked all the airports that are in the area. We can't capture any airports. So the actual logistical chain of this war is getting really, really difficult. And I'm overextended and stretched very thin, very thin in order to try and desperately grab the conquest victory before Kang does. I mean, if this had been just a pure science game, I could have won this very easily, just sitting there in my own little corner with my absurd capital. But no, I had to insist, oh no, let's show off the domination. Let's show off domination for the sake of the LP. We'll show on. I've stuck to my guns, and now we're in this mess. Delightful, isn't it? So this is me working out. Yeah, absolutely. There's no way we can even graze Washington with a nuke. We know there's a city there, and this is me hoping that I don't have to take that city in order to be able to attack Washington. And me deciding to have stealth bombers do it for satellites, because just it would help with the line of sight. So much of this game, the rest of this game, is just going to be like this cycle of nukes and XCOMs, because it's really, it's all you can effectively do at the end like this in a game that's dragged on long because the AI has been, honestly, actually, having Ramkhamhaeng declare on America was probably a bad thing on my part, because it got Ramkhamhaeng shuffling all his units around, and his own units were blocking him from, he had so many units and so many civilians and things all around that he couldn't move his spaceship parts. And now he actually has a clear route to move the spaceship parts into his capital where he needs to in order to win the spaceship victory. If I hadn't got him to declare war on America, that probably wouldn't have happened. But at the same time, maybe America would have been giving me a harder time. So, yeah. Sucks, doesn't it? Might just be that this is a no-win situation. I really hope it isn't. But I was me realising I fucked up and I could have taken Alexandria this turn. But I hadn't moved the tank there. Yeah, you can see it really clearly now that the mobile SAMs do indeed have 3 movement. Clearly I've just been an absolute idiot for not noticing that all this time. All this time I've been thinking they have 2 movement. Good job, David. Good job. This is me using one of my XCOM squads to scout out and see if we have a closer target. That XCOM squad, he is not going to survive his mission. Poor thing. It's spoiling right now. I mean, he does discover. You find out that his mission's successful. He finds a new target, but he gets killed in the process. Poor thing. Callahan completing the Hubble. Lost one mobile Sam, which, you know, not, as far as losses go, will not complain too much. There we go. Welcome back to the world, Ramses. Yeah, I'd moved the bomber there into Thebes in the hopes that I could get further sight from it, but it didn't work, so... I'm going to be really careful to try and make sure they don't end up stealing Thebes back out from under us. And there we go, there's Seattle, which we'll be using as our base to attack Washington. Yeah, so this is where I had upon the thought of putting an airport into Thebes. That XCOM's probably going to be on barbarian duty to the end of the game. And it looks like so far that the only real occurrence in the war between Ramkamahang and Washington is Jerusalem getting a bit beat up. Which is, you know, not what I'm wanting at all out of it. This is me, and I realised here, of course, oil doesn't really help us much anymore. The only thing that we could be building now that would use oil are bombers, and they're about to go obsolete. So more things are like using aluminium now at this stage of the game. Yeah, now we're annoyed at America's, you know, still having planes and stuff around here. It's me pulling out a lot of. I'm just gonna take Least and liberate it back to Egypt. Actually, that's something I never really noticed about Highland maps before. They actually, like, even though they don't, like, wrap around and everything, they have a It's like the Tilted Axis map where you only have one frozen pole. So the north band of the map is all tundra and snow, and the bottom is... I just thought about it, yeah, because the bottom of the map's all the jungle. Huh. Hadn't really... something I had noticed about... there's Washington building spaceship parts. Something I hadn't really noticed about the Highland maps before. It's not a map I play on very much. Actually explains why I didn't remember that it didn't wrap around initially. In the future, I think between this and the Morocco game, I've definitely learned my lesson about playing on maps that don't wrap around, or at least have maps that. I suppose it's different when the maps that don't wrap around have an ocean around the edges. That does change things up a bit. So. But these land maps that don't wrap around, I'm definitely not going to be playing much of them in the future. That applies to Civ 6 as well, I think. Ugh. So yeah, we're gonna need we're gonna need 4 nukes minimum to deal with Washington. 2 nukes for Seattle and 2 nukes for Washington itself. Then we'll need a few nukes to deal with Ramkamahang and a few nukes to deal with Gajimara. So. God, taking Sukhothai is going to be such a pain. Such a pain. Ramses has a really nice leader screen. All the lighting on and everything it just works really, really well. Some of the leaders they don't look quite right. You can tell where the graphics they used to make them have gone a bit. Attila in particular, his leader screen when you look at it up close really doesn't look very good.